Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be learning about dotted note equivalence. So, what is dotted note equivalence? Dotted note equivalence is the alternative way of expressing dotted notes, or in simpler terms, it is another way in which to identify dotted notes or to write dotted notes. So, basically, I've drawn this table here to teach you how we're gonna delve on that. So, firstly, we said on my previous video that of dotted notes, I said that the dotted semi-brief holds for 6 beats, the dotted minim holds for 3 beats, the dotted crochet holds for 1.5 beats, the dotted quaver holds for 3/4 beats. So just to make you understand this table, I've just drawn it. I just drawn 3 sets. One for dotted notes, which are the dotted notes here, one for the equivalent notes to the dotted notes, which is the equivalent notes, and here a set of the beats of each of the dotted notes. So let us start firstly with the dotted semi-brief. Now, we said that the semi-brief holds for 4 beats. And on my earlier video of dotted notes, we said that this dot here represents half the value of the original note, or it can also mean the previous note that comes before this original note. So the equivalent note, or the other way to write or express this dotted semi-brief, is by saying a semi-brief plus a minim, which brings a dotted semi-brief. So this is another way of expressing a dotted semi-brief. And also I have here that a dotted semi-brief is equal to 6 crochets. So basically 6 crochet is equivalent to a dotted semi-brief. And basically it leads to 6 beats. But why? We said that a semi-brief is 4 beats. And then we said a minim is 2 beats. Therefore you add 4 beats plus 2 beats, which give you 6 beats. And why is it equal to 6 crochets? Reason is a semi-brief is equal to 4 crochets, whereas a minim is equal to 2 crochets. So 4 crochets plus 2 crochets equals 6 crochets, which is equal to 6 beats. Then we move on to the dotted minim. We said earlier on that a minim holds for 2 beats. And then we also said that this dot represents half the value of the original note. And we also said that the dot also represents the previous note that comes before the minim. And we know the previous note that comes before the minim is a crotchet. Therefore, in other words, a dotted minim can also be expressed as a minim plus a crotchet. And it is also equivalent to 3 crochets, which is equal to 3 beats. Reason why is a minim is equal to a minim is equal to 2 crochets, and we already have 1 crochet. So 2 crochets plus 1 crochet equals 3 crochets, which is 3 beats. I hope you understand that. And then here we have a dotted crochet. Earlier on we said that a crochet holds for 1 beat. And we then said that a dot represents half the value of a crochet and also represents the previous note that comes before the crochet. And we know that the previous note that comes before the crochet is a quaver, which holds for half a beat. So basically, the equivalent way, or the alternative way of expressing a dotted note is basically saying a crochet plus a quaver, and which is equal to 3 quaver notes, which is 1.5 beats. And then we move on to the dotted quaver. We said that a quaver holds for half a beat. And then we also say that the dot here represents half the value of the original note, or it also represents the previous note that comes before this note, the original, which is the original note. And we know the previous note that comes before a quaver is a semiquaver, which holds for a quarter beat. Therefore, another way of expressing a dotted quaver is by saying a quaver plus a semiquaver, which is also equivalent to 3 semiquavers, which is 3/4 beats. I hope you understand that. So basically, if you want to know how we come about a dotted semi-brief, you basically say a semi-brief plus a minim. If you want to know how a dotted minim is formed, you basically say a minim plus a crochet. The same here with the dotted crochet, crochet plus a quiver. And yes, dotted quiver is quiver plus a semi-quiver. So basically, if you want to best express them, basically say the like here we say the semi-brief and the semi-brief plus a minim, which is the semi-brief and this note, which represents the previous note that comes before the semi-brief, which is a minim. So basically you say a semi-brief plus a minim. Same here, minim plus a crochet. Same here, crochet plus a quiver. Same here, quiver plus a semi-quiver. And they are also equivalent to 6 beats, 6 crochets, 3 crochets, 3 quavers, 3 semi-quavers, which is 6 beats, 3 beats, 1.5 beats, and 3/4 beats. So that is it for dotted note equivalence. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you understood. Please hope to share this video, like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.